Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. I'm just going to run through basically what I'm going to do this week to show you how things work in a small one-man guitar making shop, and also to keep me accountable to make sure I do the things I say I'm going to do. So it's a double bonus. As you see, I've got the brains of the operation is here. That's Basil. Hiya matey. Good. He's very happy. That's good. So first thing I did this morning was I stacked up all the mahogany that I got on Friday. All the body blanks, all the neck blanks, they're all now stacked and stickered up, acclimatizing. I've checked the moisture content with my moisture meter. This is a, I don't know what you call it, it's electronic moisture content meter, which is sort of adjustable for different densities of wood. However, it's a bit tricky because you're never entirely sure what the density of the piece of the wood is that you're using, and you can fiddle the results by twiddling that. So what I do is use it as a comparative machine, and I simply set it to one setting and I compare the wood that I bought with pieces of wood that I've had in the shop for 15, 20 years. So, which I know are dry and ready to go. And that way I get a comparative number and I know exactly where I am, rather than assuming that this is accurate, you know, because the numbers are essentially meaningless. But it's having comparison. If I compare what I've got with something that I know is dry and the numbers are the same, then we're good to go. This piece of wood is as dry as it's going to get in this shop, and that there says 6% moisture, 6% moisture in the wood. Let's compare it with this body blank. That also says 6%. So this wood, or at least this piece of wood from this lot I bought, is very, very close to that. So I will, however, leave it to settle and acclimatise for a few weeks at the very least before I start very, very slowly bringing it down. At the moment, they're all over thickness. I'm not sure entirely what thickness they'll end up. Most of them will end up 1 3/4 inches or 44 millimeters, which is standard sort of body thickness. But some of them will probably be used for my new SGTO model, which is 1.5 inches or 38 millimeters. So, but the first thing I'll do with these is look at how flat they are, because they've all just essentially come off the saw, so they're always a little bit irregular. They're not perfectly flat, so I'll take off the high spots and get a flat face, then flip it over, run it through the sander. I do use a friend of mine has a big 15-inch wide planer thicknesser, which I use, but I might not do that with these because these are very, very close, and I can do a lot of that on the sander with a really coarse belt. I can take quite a lot off like that. So we'll wait and see. Ordinarily, without the coronavirus, I'd pop round with my friends and use his planer thicknesser, but that might not be the thing to do right now. So we'll find another way of doing it. But that's, you know, we're a couple of weeks away at least, and that will be the first stage. And then I'll put them back on the rack to settle a little bit, and then I'll see how they go, whether they stay flat, where they move, how they move, and then slowly bring them down to the right thickness. In fact, I don't normally bring them right down to thickness until it's already a body blank. Because when you have a big slab of board like that, that's at the thickness you want it. When you cut it, the shape of a guitar out of it, it can move slightly. You get a little bit of internal tension in the wood, and then you've got a body which is not completely flat, which is not ideal when you want to start machining routes into it and you want to sit it onto a flat jig. So I tend to bring them down to thickness really, really slowly. And in fact, the final dimension is done after it's been cut into a body shape. So I bandsaw it out and then take the last few fractions off to get it down to where I want it to be. That way the body's going to, I'm confident the body's going to stay completely flat. So that was the first thing I did today, and that's what I'm going to be doing in a few weeks' time. I may start looking at them later this week, but we'll see. There's plenty of other things to do yet. Amazon Rosewood Fingerboard, which is going to be going on the first of my new model, the SGTR, which is a thinner bodied version of the Meteor with beveled edges. So I need to continue fitting the last few inlays into here. They're actually all fitted. I just need to take the last 4 down to the right depth, which I'll do with my Dremel with a little router base and a couple of chisels, standard 1/4 inch chisel and another one which I ground down to a fine tip so I can just get in the corners and get nice sharp corners. Once they're done and they're glued in and flattened off, I'll have 4 fingerboards ready to be glued on. That one will be going on there. This reverse headstock we decided to do for the first SGTR for a bit of fun. This is a 25.5 inch scale rocket which will be going to one of my dealers in the States. This is going to Guitars Electric in New York sometime soon, and a couple of fingerboards need to go on these 2 necks, which are probably the longest project I've had sitting around in the shop. I started these probably 8 years ago. A couple of Les Paul Juniors. I had a couple of body blanks which were just a little bit too small to get a rocket out of, so I thought, what can I do? I can make a Les Paul Junior. That's a very small body, so I've got bodies done over there, nearly ready, and just need to get the fingerboards on these, final machine the end here, carve them up, and they'll be on their way. One of those is for me. A guitar of my own, hurrah! But there's a couple other things to do first. Once I've finished putting those inlays in and I've cleared a little bit of space on the bench, I need to clean up this body which I grain filled the other day. This was grain filled I think on Thursday or Friday. Just needs final, you can see there's a few little bits of smeary filler here which just need to clean up. So I'll be going over that, cleaning that up, and as soon as that's done I'll get the first sealer coats of nitrocellulose lacquer onto it. And then we're onto the finish stage. I'm slightly held up with the finish at the moment because I've been waiting for the sign makers to reopen, so they can make me some new masks. I ran out of masks a few weeks ago, and due to the virus and the lockdown and all the rest of it, I haven't been able to get any more made. But they started again today, and I was in there first thing in the morning. So hopefully I'll get those later this week, and I can get that moved along. I use a stick-on mask, a self-adhesive mask, to spray my logo on the headstock. I'll make a video of it once I get them, but essentially the mask sticks on there. I spray over with some gold lacquer, peel it off, and there it is. It's sort of a substitute for a silk screen. Has the same effect. It's very convenient and looks great. Later in the week, once I've got the fingerboards glued on and I'm moving on with the paintwork on those 2 guitars, the 2 rockets that are in the booth at the moment. I've got a few other projects I could like to start moving on with. If the moisture content looks right on those body blanks, I might start moving on a little bit with those. I've got some neck blanks that need very preliminary stages of sawing out into a neck blank, so I might do some of those. I've also got couple of projects, some new versions of the rocket and the Meteor, so I need to make some new templates which I'll hopefully be covering in a new series. The plan is, so I might start doing a little bit of desk work, planning, thinking, scratching the old Swede, working out how and what I'm going to do with those. So that's another thing. And then there'll also be all the latter stages of those necks, neck carving, fingerboard radiusing, fretting, preparing the necks for fitting into the bodies, gluing the necks into the bodies, etc., etc. There's a lot to do, so I'll be moving forward with that. So I think all of that should keep me busy for the rest of the week comfortably. So I'll make another video on Friday and see just how much of that I got done.